My mom was born Kathleen Jean Laments in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on May 26, 1943, to Cecile Christofsky Laments and Leonard Laments. Mom told me her parents had a good marriage, with neither of them ever raising their voice in the house or using an unkind word to one another. Mom was a surprise baby. Her mother was born in 1899, making her age 44 at the time of Mom's birth. Having a child in your 40s in the 1940s was not very common. Mom said her mother was definitely one of the older moms among her friends and classmates, but she was well loved by all. Mom would often tell me how generous her mother was and how on one occasion they spent the entire day taking the bus and going downtown to find just the right hat for her mom, and when she wore the hat the next day and received a compliment, she took it off her head and gave it to the person who admired it. I think Mom had that spirit of generosity too. Mom was one of 5 children. Her oldest sister, Arlene, was 20 at the time that Mom was born. She married my Uncle Wally just a few months after Mom's birth. Mom's brother, Ronnie, was 19 when Mom was born and had been drafted into the Army during World War II. It was a 9-year age gap between Mom and her sister, Donna. Mom looked up to her pretty sister, Donna, who was the queen of the Butler frontier days. Mom said she loved to just go into her closet and look at her clothes. Sis Sandy was 4 years older than Mom. Spunky and confident, she took it upon herself to make sure that no one messed with her baby sis Kathy. Sis Arlene was like a second mother to my mom, especially given their 20-year age gap. In addition, my grandmother had a lot on her plate, especially as brother Ronnie suffered what I guess we would now call PTSD from World War II. Arlene had 2 daughters, Sherry and Jan, within just a few years of Mom's birth. So even though Mom was technically their aunt, they grew up together and were like sisters, and they maintained that close connection throughout their entire life. Mom enjoyed typical 1950s teenage years. She had a cat named Fluffy and a Cocker Spaniel named Sandy that she said was her joy. She attended school in Wauwatosa and then went to Milwaukee Lutheran High School. It was there that she met my dad, Jim Krieger or Krueger, depending upon how you want to say it. Mom would often tell me that Dad was very popular, not because he was the most handsome guy in school, but because he was the friendliest and the most fun. And who could resist this cute face? According to Mom, he never asked a girl out twice. So when he asked her out and they had a great time, she didn't expect that he would call again, but he did, and she was ecstatic. They were high school sweethearts. Mom and Dad graduated from high school in 1962. Dad attended the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, and earned his engineering degree, and Mom attended the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, where she was roomies with her niece and best friend, Sherry. Mom and Dad got engaged and then married in 1965. Their first baby was a Cocker Spaniel named Tuffy. Dad got a job in Louisville, Kentucky, and along came baby Lisa in 1967. A job change meant a move to Michigan, where Mom and Dad bought their first home on Mark Twain Street in Detroit for just over $17,000. A job with American Air Filter took us to Pennsylvania for several years and then back to Michigan when I was in the 2nd grade. We moved into a new house on Highbury Drive, and in 2021, I was able to take the kids and Wasim to visit that house on Highbury Drive. Mom, Dad, and I were a merry little trio and a very close family. Mom and Dad always wanted more children, but it never worked out. Mom lost a baby when I was very young. I would have had a brother named Scott Andrew, and I like to think that Mom is reunited with that little soul now. While I was growing up, Mom was a busy bee. She did at-home childcare, and for many years, Colin and Jennifer were part of our weekly household. If taking care of me and other children wasn't enough, Mom always had craft and decorating projects going on. She loved decorating and took great pride in the care and attention she gave to every room in our house. She even taught decorating classes at night at the local adult education program, as well as gourmet cooking classes. She practiced on me and my dad, so I grew up eating dishes like quiche Lorraine, beef Wellington, gazpacho, vichyssoise, cheese soufflé, and baked Alaska. I never even had macaroni and cheese or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich until I was in my 20s. Mom compiled all of her recipes and even illustrated some of them. I still have all of them because Mom never threw anything away. Mom was so creative and talented. You name it, and she could do it, make it, cook it, sew it, or paint it. She always made my Halloween costumes, and sometimes we would pick out a McCall's pattern together and she would make clothes for me. She started doing at-home craft shows in the late 1970s with things like quilted toaster covers, seashell mirrors and lamps, decoupage soaps, wall art, and spice cabinets. Then she began selling her wares at local craft and art shows, where one of her most popular and best-selling items were hand-painted wooden cheese boxes. She was even featured in the newspaper. Dad and I attended many a craft show, helping Mom to set up and sell her products. We were like the Three Musketeers, all for one and one for all. In the 1980s, Mom began painting and applying applique to sweatsuits. This venture proved highly successful, and we had a steady stream of customers coming to our house, where the basement was transformed into a makeshift store. Mom even flew to New York, where she hired a professional model and photographer to create promotional material. In the 10th grade, my parents decided to put me into private school, and the tuition was $6,010. That was a lot back in 1982, but Mom covered the entire tuition in one weekend of selling her sweatsuits at the Arts and Apples show in Rochester, Michigan, and she was so thrilled to be able to do that. I have lots of happy memories growing up in Michigan. We spent many, many weekends in northern Michigan in Petoskey and Harbor Springs, skiing in the winter and going to the beach in the summer. Though we were a family of 3, extended family was very important, and I have lots of happy memories of time spent with my dad's family in Illinois and Mom's family in Florida. From our first home in Troy, Michigan, we upgraded to a bigger house in Troy until my dad took up a new job in Houston, Texas. Mom had always dreamed of turning her home business into a retail store, and in Houston, she opened a gift and clothing boutique called Berries and Bows. I worked there every day after school and on the weekends. Another dream of hers was to be part of a designer show home, and this she was also able to achieve in Houston, where she renovated an attic space in a historic Houston mansion. When I was in college, Mom and Dad moved back to Michigan, this time to Farmington Hills. Mom developed another niche business selling t-shirt dresses and also worked as a designer at a furniture store called Expressions. Mom and Dad were amazing parents with a one-of-a-kind marriage. They never ran out of things to talk about, and they were always affectionate and truly in love with one another. The summer of 1994, after I graduated from law school, Mom, Dad, and I went to northern Michigan for a summer family trip. Tragedy struck when we were in a car accident and my dad passed on. Mom moved to Orlando, just around the corner from her sis Arlene. Mom had always wanted to go to Europe, so she and I took a memorable trip to France, Monaco, Spain, and Germany, and with just one carry-on each. Mom and Sherry took design classes, and Mom was very proud to become a member of the American Society of Interior Designers. It was her dream to work at Robin Stuckey, at that time Orlando's premier home furnishings and design store, and this she was able to do. She even did design seminars for the store. She also worked for Ethan Allen and Thomasville. I was always amazed at how Mom soldiered on through life after Dad's passing. He was her great love, and for the past 30 years, she hung in there without him. Her sisters were her rock, strength, support, and best friends.
We are family. Hey, I got all my sisters.
While Mom was embarking on chapter 2 of her life in Florida, I bounced around between Seattle, Miami, New York, and Houston, where I met Wasim. In early 2001, we came to visit Mom in Florida and told her we had a surprise. She thought she was getting a new camera, but we told her, guess what? We are moving to Orlando. She was so happy she cried, and it was one of the more memorable days of my life. In spring 2001, Wasim and I moved to Orlando and got married. Mom always thought of Wasim as a son, not a son-in-law, and he truly loved Mom like his own mother for the past 22 years.
Come on, let's twist again, like we did last year. Do you remember when things were really hard?
In 2003, Mom became a grandmother when Cameron was born, and again in 2008 when Amber was born. She was an amazing grandmother and had tremendous energy, sometimes even more than the kids. She loved taking them to story time at the library, to the park, and especially to Disney, where she was always happy to stay until after the fireworks.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
She loved the Mickey Mouse ice cream bars at Disney, and in fact, she loved all kinds of ice cream, and chocolate, especially Kilwin's Seafoam. And she loved her orange juice, and lipstick. She was never without lipstick. During the last 10 years of her life, Mom had her own place near my office for a while, where she loved to do gardening and painting projects. In 2017, we got Charlie, our Maltese, to keep Mom company, and when she moved in with us the next year, he became the family dog. Mom loved our home, the birds in the backyard, and watching American Idol and Dancing with the Stars with us. After 2 falls and hospital stays, Mom moved into her place at Westminster Towers Assisted Living, where she continued to bless others with her positive outlook, her joy, and inner light. She would always say, "It's better to laugh than to cry, and I choose to laugh." She would also tell me, "Honey, it's up to you to have a happy day or a crappy day." And she would remind me, "Pat yourself on the back, you're doing a great job." I think those are words of wisdom for all of us to live by. Mom's positivity, I think, came from her deep faith in God and his care for her and all of us. While Mom was raised Lutheran, she became a Christian Scientist during the early years of her marriage to my dad, and the church and its teachings were very important to her. She relied on God for healing and really never took medicine. Even in the last month of her life, when a cancer diagnosis was making physical activity difficult, she remained happy, positive, faithful, and always viewed herself as just fine. She was still raring to go up until the very end. Mom was a wonderful example of a life well lived, and one of my life's greatest blessings was the honor of being her daughter.
'Cause you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on, now and forevermore. You'll be in my heart. No matter what they say. You'll be here in my heart, always, always.
The day before she passed, I was surrounded by butterflies. I truly felt it was a message from Mom saying, "Honey, I'm always with you. Neither distance, nor time, nor space, nor death can separate us from God's love or those we love." Christmas morning, she passed peacefully, and I think that was very fitting for someone who was so Christ-like and spiritual. Since then, I have been seeing and finding butterflies everywhere. In a box of Mom's papers, I found this butterfly card right on top of this poem, which I'd like to share with you. Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we still are. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used to. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Pray, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of a shadow on it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am waiting for you for an interval somewhere very near, just round the corner. All is well.